Once in a small town school, something strange happened. Strange messages began to appear on the board in one of the classrooms, and the teacher noticed that her personal belongings were frequently moved, even though none of the students could have touched them. Soon it became clear that something really inexplicable was happening in the school. One night, while finishing her work at the school, one of the cleaners heard strange noises coming from one of the classrooms. She decided to take a look inside and saw something that made her freeze with fear. In the classroom, there was the spirit of a little girl who had died several years ago in the same school. The spirit began to call the cleaner to her, but she managed to escape from the school and call the police. After this, many other strange events occurred in the school, and finally, after many investigations, it was found that the spirit of the girl returns to the school every year on the day of her death to say goodbye to her classmates. Since then, on the day of her death, students are not allowed to stay in the school after classes, so as not to disturb the peace of the girl's spirit. Unfortunately, the story doesn't end here. Some students and teachers noticed that on certain days of the year, as the day of the girl's death approached, the school became cold and the air was filled with a strange smell. Sometimes they heard whispers, rustling, and footsteps in the empty school corridors, and someone claimed to have seen the ghost of the little girl wandering through the school classrooms and corridors. Unfortunately, there is no exact information about how the girl died. There is only a legend that is passed down orally and changes over time. Some say that the girl was killed by her own father, while others claim that she fell off the roof of the school and died. There is also a version that the girl simply disappeared without a trace and no one knows what happened to her. Regardless of how the girl died, her death became the cause of many mysterious phenomena that occur in the school. Some students and teachers claim to have seen her ghost wandering the halls and classrooms of the school. Others testify to strange sounds and noises coming from abandoned classrooms. Some students were so scared of these phenomena that they refused to come to school. Teachers and school administrators tried to tell them that it was all just imagination, but many did not believe them. Once, a group of students decided to test the truth of these rumors and went to the school at night to see the ghost of the girl. They split up into groups and went to different floors, but soon noticed that every time they tried to call their comrades on the walkie-talkie, the connection would cut out. Soon, each group became lost and they began to feel that something was not right. The air became even colder, and fear took hold of them. When the students tried to return to the school building, they found that all the doors and windows were locked and bolted from the inside. They started to panic and scream, but their cries were not heard. Soon they began to feel that someone or something was watching them, and this made them even more scared. The clock ticked louder and louder, and the students realized that they were locked in the school for the whole night. Finally, morning came, and teachers who discovered the locked doors and windows freed the students. Since then, no one has risked spending the night in the school on the day the girl died. Something strange happened in the school, and the students no longer wanted to encounter the ghost of the little girl. However, the legend of her ghost continued to live in the school and attracted the curious. As soon as the story of the students locked in the school at night spread throughout the city, people became even more interested in the disappearance of the girl. Some began to search for her body, thinking that it might be hidden somewhere in the school, while others believed that her ghost still wanders the building. Many of those who spent nights in the school claim to have seen shadowy figures and heard rustling and whispers. Several years after the tragedy, the school was closed, but the legend of the little girl and her ghost continued to live on. Rumors circulated throughout the town that glowing figures and mysterious sounds would appear at the site of the school. After a few more years, a new residential complex was built on the site of the former school, but many residents still claim that on some nights, you can see the ghost of the little girl in that place. Thus ended the story of the tragic death of the girl and her ghost, but the legend remains in the memories of the town's residents and continues to live on, passed down from generation to generation.